Next Door Neighbors is made possible by the support of the Nissan Foundation.
When I was younger, I definitely felt out of place a lot. It was fine when I was in elementary school because, I was still a kid, so I didn't really understand. But it was always kind of weird for me. I felt like I had like a double life. At school, I'm speaking English and, the cultures are just very different. And then I come home and we're speaking Amharic and eating different food.
Abigail Merha is a second-generation American. Born in Nashville to Ethiopian parents, her entire upbringing was influenced by traditional Ethiopian culture, including its distinctive cuisine.
I think food and art played a huge role in me finding my identity and, being comfortable in the fact that I wasn't born in Ethiopia and I'm not fully Ethiopian. And, maybe I'm not completely American, but that's okay. I'm a little bit of both, and I think that's what makes me who I am, and I think that's really cool. Pretty much all Ethiopian dishes are some sort of stew, and that stew is mostly composed of onions, some sort of oil or butter, and then the spice of choice.
While the stews are classic Ethiopian fare, the way they're eaten is also unique, with a flatbread instead of a spoon.
Injira is the base of traditional Ethiopian food. It's sort of like what you use as your utensil. So traditionally, injira is a flatbread that's made mostly of teff, which is a native grain to Ethiopia. You put the sauces on the injera, it kind of soaks it in, and you use it to eat with your hands.
Abigail takes those traditions and gives them her own flavor. She describes her cooking as Ethiopian fusion, and it's formed the core of her catering business called The Spicy Lentil.
The first way that it's fusion is that I take aspects of Ethiopian food, flavor, spices, methods of cooking, and I blend it with American styles of cooking and flavors and ways of serving the food. And then the second way that it's fusion is that I try to take traditionally meat dishes and make them using vegetables and vegan alternatives.
It's an approach that's won her a lot of fans, but not everybody is ready for change.
When it comes to sort of changing up traditional Ethiopian cuisine, I think the response is mostly positive, but there definitely are a good number of people who are not really into the whole fusion thing, and they kind of feel like it's just Americanized, and people who are here who try really hard to cling on to what little they have of Ethiopia, that they just don't want you to mess with it at all. I have a deep appreciation for traditional cultures, but I also think that it's really important to challenge those things, because I think that's the only way that we can advance and get better.
With a population of around 15 to 20,000, the Ethiopian community in Nashville has grown in recent years. Today, most are coming for education, but many first-generation immigrants still struggle with the language and experience isolation in their new home. Traditions bring comfort, and one of the most important traditions in Ethiopian culture is the coffee ceremony.
Coffee ceremony is not only about drinking a coffee. It's all about sharing your experience. It could be some life issues that you have right that moment. So people will sit and chit-chat and converse about what's going on in their life. Most of the time they have a solution that comes from the other end. So the coffee ceremony is a way of getting together and conversing about life.
Yurga Alambelicha was one of the first Ethiopians to make her home in Nashville. She recalls the days when her mother performed the coffee ceremony in their home village.
My mother used to make coffee, and she'll call her neighbors to come to the house. And this is a ritual thing. Everybody takes turn to make coffee. It takes almost about 2 hours from the beginning to the end. During that time, it's really therapeutic for the mothers to talk about their family, the husband, the children, what kind of problem they have. They talk about solutions.
Yurga fears that in today's world, there may not be room for age-old customs like the coffee ceremony, at least not in the form that she once knew it.
The social life is changed. They don't have time.
Today, the Ethiopian community is finding a new place for the coffee ceremony. Helena Falik works with the Ethiopian Community Association in Nashville, also known as ECAN. She and other leaders are using the coffee ceremony format as a way of dealing with issues that affect the community.
In Ethiopia, coffee is not just a drink. You know what to expect when you are invited for coffee. Somebody wants to talk to you about something.
At this coffee ceremony, ECAN invited the Metro Police Department to create a two-way conversation around Ethiopian culture and police practices.
If you see a police officer, don't be scared. I just encourage everybody to understand the law a little bit more, take the time to, interact with officers.
We Ethiopians have culturally struggled with assimilating with American culture. ECAN is trying to bridge the gap between the Ethiopian community and police, having a stronger relationship. Also, on the other side, we want police officers to understand our culture.
This coffee ceremony gives a chance, to people to gather together and to discuss personal as well as societal problems or issues. That's good.
That's one of the reasons I love United States, is because anything is possible. You can reach your dream as long as you're willing to work hard for it. And I like my life here. However, I still hold on to my Ethiopian roots because I feel like that helped build me into who I am today. It doesn't necessarily have to contradict with each other, holding on to your roots while living the American dream.
Next Door Neighbors is made possible by the support of the Nissan Foundation.